Hi, friends. Happy Friday. It's Carrie Califano with the Porch Light Group here at William Ravis Real Estate, bringing you your weekly real estate report for this Friday, February 4th. I'm excited to bring you this new format of a report in the hopes of giving you as much information as possible to prepare you for the 2022 real estate market. Let's dive in. We're going to forecast 2022 by taking a look back at 2021 and even 2020. And we're going to start out first by looking at the seller's perspective on the real estate market. So first, let's look at housing inventory over the last year or so. So we're going to be comparing December 2021 and December 2020. So basically the last year, and we're going to look at inventory throughout the country. The national average was a decrease in inventory by 26.8%. And if you look at our state in the dark orange, Massachusetts, we had a 33.4% decrease in housing inventory from December 2020 through December 2021. Now, even though the inventory is low, we are going to take a look at the pending sales numbers because even though the inventory was low, it did not stop buyers from getting out there and putting offers in on properties. Here we're looking at the past 5 years pending sales, and you can see that the last 2 years have been stronger than the 3 years before the pandemic hit. Now, shifting over to home prices, we want to look at the forecast for 2022. Here we have the 7 industry leaders in the blue. They're showing their predicted forecast for home prices in the next year. And the green bar is showing an average of 5.2, an average of all of those forecasts. So a 5.2% increase in home prices. So the last piece to talk about when we look at the seller's perspective is equity. How much equity is in your home? So nationally, we are looking at an average of about $57,000. And if you look at Massachusetts, we're kind of a dark blue state. We are now looking at $67,000 in equity growth from 2020, the third quarter of 2020 to the third quarter of 2021. So what does this all mean for sellers? So housing inventory is still low, the buyers are still coming out, prices are going up, and equity is still very, very strong. All forecasted to be a very good year for sellers in 2022. Now, moving forward, let's look at what the 2022 market will bring for the buyers. So first, we want to look at showings. We can see here that even though 2020 and 2021 were amidst the coronavirus pandemic, you can see that showings over the last 2 years, these are numbers for Novembers, for the last 2 Novembers, have been much stronger than the 3 years previous, which shows that buyers are still coming out despite the lack of inventory and the competitive nature of the market. In this next slide, we want to look at the mortgage rate projections because this is in large part fueling buyer demand, right? The interest rates have been at historic lows for a few years now. And what is being predicted by, again, the industry leaders is that they are going to creep up slightly in 2022, but very, very, very mildly. So we're looking at an average of 3.3, maybe inching up close to 3.7 by the end of the fourth quarter of 2022. You can see that same information here in a different format in case you're more of a visual chart learner. You can see here how the interest rates kind of peaked a little bit in 2019, came sharply down, and now we're going to be inching up slowly through 2022. So in summary, as we move into 2022, we are basically looking at more of the same. Situation is going to be low inventory, rising prices, all good for the sellers. But on the buy side, we are still looking at these really, really significantly low interest rates, which will again fuel buyer demand and make it still very, very valuable for people to enter into home ownership, even though the prices are up and the market is competitive. Again, as always, we are here to help. So if you are thinking about buying or selling in 2022 or maybe even into 2023, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are always happy to consult with people individually, talk about the market, talk about your goals, and see how we can help. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.